My teacher gave me a paper in class. Um, I really want to share with you guys. I find it very educating. I find it overwhelming. I find it helpful, and I hope you find it helpful too. This paper has no author. It doesn't even matter who wrote it because, in a funny kind of way, they were rare. I want you to hear it, please. There are still our slaves. Why? Ignorance, greed, and selfishness. They are still our slaves. We can continue to reap profit from the blacks without the effort of physical slavery. Look at the current methods of containment they use on themselves: ignorance, greed, and selfishness. The ignorance is the primary weapon of containment. A great man once said the best way to hide something from black people is to put it in a book. Greed is another weapon of containment. Black people, since the abolition of slavery, have had large amounts of money at their disposal. Last year, they spent $10 billion during Christmas out of their $450 billion in total yearly income. Any of us can use them as a target for any business venture we care to dream up. No matter how outlandish, they will buy into it. Being primarily a consumer people, they function totally by greed. They continually want more with little thought for saving or investing. They would rather buy some new sneakers than invest in starting a business. Some even neglect their children to have the latest Tommy or Fubu, and they still think that having a Mercedes and a big house gives them status. They, this is tough to read. I don't know. My second or third time reading it, and I still can't comprehend or understand. So I want as much comments as I could get. Like, what do you guys think? Any of us can use them as a target. Excuse me. They would rather buy some new sneakers than invest and start in a business. Some even neglect their children and have the latest Tommy or Fubu, and they still think that having a Mercedes and a big house gives them status or that they have achieved their dream. They are fools. The vast majority of their people are still in poverty because their greed holds them back from collectively making better communities. With the help of BET and the rest of their black media that often broadcasts destructive images into their own homes, we will continue to see huge profits like those of Tommy and Nike. They'll continue to show off to each other while we build solid communities with the profit of our businesses that we market to them. Selfishness, ingrained in their minds through slavery, is one of the major ways we can contain them. One of their own, Du Bois, said that there was an innate division in their culture. Talented tenth, he called it. He was correct in his deduction that there are segments of their culture that has achieved some forms of success. However, that segment missed the fullness of his work. They didn't read that the talented 10 was then responsible to aid the non talented 90% in achieving a better life. Instead, that segment has created another class, Buffy class, that looks down on their people or aids them in condescending manners. They will never achieve what we have. Their selfishness does not allow them to be able to work together on any project or endeavor of substance. When they do get together, their selfishness lets their egos get in the way of their goals. Their so-called help organizations seem to only want to promote their name without making any real change in their community. They are content to sit in conferences and conventions in our hotels and talk about what they would do while they award plaques to the best speakers rather than the best doers. Is there no end to their selfishness? They steadfastly refuse to see that together each achieves more. Team. They do not understand that they are no better than each other because of what they own. As a matter of fact, most of those puppies are but one or two paychecks away from poverty, all of which is under the control of our pens and our own offices and our own. Yes, we will continue to contain them as long as they refuse to read. Yes, we will continue to contain them as long as they refuse to read. Continue to buy anything they want and keep thinking they are helping their communities by paying dues to organizations will do little, which do, excuse me, which do little other than hold lavish conventions in our hotels. By the way, don't worry about any of them reading this letter. Remember, they don't read. My world was so sheltered with fantasy because where I'm from, everybody loved one another. I didn't feel racism at all. Like when I read it in the books, I used to say, "Oh my God, thank God I'm not born in that time. Thank God I have not experienced racism. Thank God I have not been discriminated upon." And then I left for college, and it's all around me. Like I would expect 200, 300 years we're supposed to love each other. Mm. I don't see no barrier between me and you. When will it stop, bro? It hurts a lot to think that I am still not accepted in society. I'm no different than you. I may be better than you. You may be better than me. Yes, we will continue to contain them as long as they refuse to read. Continue to buy anything they want and keep thinking they are helping their communities by paying dues to organizations which do little other than hold lavish conventions in our hotels. By the way, don't worry about any of them reading this letter. Remember, they don't read.